When you listen to music, what do you feel? What do you think of? When people listen to music, they often relive their unforgettable times or recall their memories. Some listen to it as their background noise, while others immerse themselves fully. What if there was another way to experience music, to perhaps visualize it? When I saw the movie The Wild, a 2006 animated movie about a lion cub being shipped from the New York City Zoo to Africa with his dad and crew of misfit friends going searching for him, this song played. It was the scene in the movie where the main characters were driving through New York City atop a garbage truck in search for the lion cub, exiting through a tunnel to see the big city billboards and neon lights. And the song that played in the background was Clocks by Coldplay. When I was younger, for years, I could not recall what the song's name was until I was much older and realized that it was Clocks. Without the song, the scene in Wild would be just another scene in a movie where the problem arises and the rising actions commence. But the scene was different. It made the scene feel like it was its own movie within the one you were watching. The music perfectly captured the scene's emotion, amplifying its impact in a way that made both visual and auditory elements powerfully dominate the moment and resonate with the audience. For those that know Clocks, the song has this looping, arpeggiated piano riff that gives it an urgent feel, and with layers of reverb-drenched drums, guitars, and bass lines, it creates a soundscape that is unmatched. Clocks is, to this day, the song with which I realized that music transcends film. Within that first key, I gained a new perspective on the way that music translates to films in a way I haven't known before. When I listen to music, I visualize scenes from films. Whether pre-existing or completely original, I visualize characters driving boats, friends going through a difficult time, or people just existing. Whether it's a movie trailer, a documentary, a thriller, or a comedy, I see the vision. This has greatly impacted my perspective on life as I grow up in it. When I hear a song, I immediately link it to a cinematic moment. It's no secret that musical features such as predictability and repetition can be the driving factors in leading listeners to form visual imagery of music. That's why Clocks is so effective. The piano riff is something that replays and repeats over and over again until you feel its impactful weight. In a study conducted by the National Library of Medicine, storytelling was the most common form of visual imagery during music listening, meaning it aligns with the idea that individuals are prone to envision characters, settings, actions, while associations such as narratives and atmosphere are more abstract. Here's where I come in. I knew I had to capitalize on my evocative thinking. I realized that my viewpoint was not one that many shared with me, and if I was going to try something with filmmaking myself, the music element of storytelling with associations would differentiate me from the rest. The first short film I did was for my history class as a project. The song, Not My Responsibility, by Billie Eilish, being the key emphasis to help highlight women's double standards in modern society, with my best friend, Dia, playing as the protagonist. It was filmed in black and white until the last scene when it turned to color. With this experience, I learned how colors and sounds synchronize together to complement each other and create the equation of film in a way where the audience has an emotional reaction to it. 3 months later, in that same history room, I was finishing my French Revolution key terms worksheet with headphones in, listening to a song that was in my head for weeks, when I had an epiphany. I asked my history teacher for an extra piece of paper, and there, right in the middle of class, I sketched out my visualization for the opening scene of my movie, illustrating characters deep in conversation with ideas for a soundtrack and a color scheme. While I probably can't tell you much about the French Revolution, that movie that I made for my personal project now has 1.3 thousand views on YouTube. I knew exactly how the movie was going to look and sound like from that moment going forward. Despite the school year ending and the summer starting, I worked day and night on the final outline and the script, figuring out each detail. I spent the first few weeks in June locked in my home office, eating watermelon and drinking iced tea, editing the script's nuances, and getting all my thoughts out until my brain was exhausted. I handled it as a full-time job, ensuring all my time and effort were put into making the best film possible, considering my lack of experience. I kept a journal, jotting down every detail I thought had importance, whether it was a location or a line I would want a character to say. I continued to write down how I wanted to use color theory on screen to express emotion and how music would play in accordance to it, giving each melody and lyric in a song a specific segment in the movie. Throughout the summer, I realized that my movie wasn't really a movie, it was a concept music video. The new school year started, and I had a brilliantly talented actress in mind to help me star in the film, my best friend Jane. Despite having casting issues and lack of sufficient equipment, I had to be sanguine enough to get to shooting. October 20th was the first shoot date. Some nights we spent hours at school until 9 p.m., breaking into classrooms to get scenes shot. Others we shot in parks or at our friends' houses. We filmed all throughout the autumn months until the last days before the personal project showcase was going to take place on January 28th. That same day, the film was released on YouTube. All the tireless work, early mornings and midnights spent planning, rehearsing, shooting, editing, and directing were all part of a product I, along with my friends, created. So anyone can post on YouTube showing travels or hangouts with their friends if it's just a vlog. But it's the music that restyles these videos into cinematic recordings. What story or feeling the song creates that the film reflects is what transforms it into such a unique viewing experience. Whether it's a song by Frank Sinatra, Frank Ocean, Lorde, or Bee Gees, or even Polish Chopin, there is no limit to how many scenes there can be filmed within that song. This viewpoint I believe, is a way of thinking that is truly a gift to have, one that provides you with the most creativity and curiosity as an artist. Once you have it, you will listen to music in an extraordinary way, in a way where every beat is mesmerizing, where every note is striking, in a way where every lyric feels like a rush of blood to the head. And with this passion for music, it will aid you greatly in producing and creating a movie that understands music. Think of your favorite song. No matter the genre or artist, select one that best represents how you feel in this very moment. The next time you pick a song, I challenge you to see the story as it tells. Imagine a film or a movie to it. Visualize the characters, the setting, the emotions. Keep imagining and keep listening, because without realizing, you're already creating a movie in your mind. I hope to one day create those movies that you're thinking of, in case you don't. I guess I'll see you in the movies.